Python programming language has over 60 built-in functions to help you code more efficiently. In this video, we will discuss the function delattr. Hello, Pythonistas. In today's video, we're tackling the built-in Python function delattr. By end of this video, you'll know exactly what it does, why it's useful, and how to use it in your code. Let's jump right in. First up, what is delattr? The delattr function is used to delete an attribute from an object. Here's the syntax. Delattr, object, and name. Object is the object from which you want to delete an attribute. Name is a string representing the name of the attribute that you want to remove. The purpose of delattr is simple. It provides a dynamic way to delete attributes from objects. Instead of hard-coding attribute names, you can use strings, making it especially useful for metaprogramming. Here are some key concepts. Delattr is essentially the dynamic equivalent of the del statement. The object must have the specified attribute, or Python will raise an attribute error. And it only works with attributes, not dictionary keys. So when would you use delattr? When working with dynamic attributes in classes or objects, in cases where attribute names are determined at runtime, such as in frameworks or APIs, and when cleaning up or reconfiguring objects during execution. Let's see how it works in practice. Here's a simple example. Notice in this example how we're creating a class called example and in its constructor creating an attribute with the current value iExist. After creating the instance, we test and we see that the attribute exists. Then using the delattr function, we remove the attribute from the object. And the result when we try to print is we get the error that the attribute does not exist. So here, delattr removes the attribute from the object dynamically. If you try to access it afterward, you'll get an attribute error. Now let's look at an example where the attribute name is determined at runtime. Here we have a class dynamic example with two attributes A and B. We create an instance of the object. We create a string with the letter A, and we use the string to delete the attribute. So in this case, we used a variable to specify the attribute name, which makes delattr flexible and dynamic. Another great use case is cleaning up objects dynamically. For example, let's say we want to remove all attributes that start with a certain prefix. Note that we have a class that initiates with three attributes, temp A, temp B, and final. We create an instance of that class. Then we use a loop to remove all attributes starting with the prefix temp. So in this example, we were able to dynamically clean up attributes based on their names using a loop and the function delattr. A few things to keep in mind when using delattr. If the attribute doesn't exist, Python will raise an attribute error. It works with object attributes, not dictionary keys. If you're working with dictionaries, use del instead. And that's the delattr function. To recap, it dynamically deletes attributes from object. It's perfect for runtime attribute management and cleanup. Be mindful of attribute error and ensure the attribute exists before deleting it. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Python tips. Happy coding!